I was 6 weeks pregnant after 4 years of trying when my own sister said one sentence at Thanksgiving dinner that unraveled my entire marriage. My name is Hannah Doyle. I'm 34. I live in Savannah, Georgia with my husband Owen. We'd been trying for a baby since our second year of marriage. Every month became a countdown. Every negative test felt like losing something all over again. Owen held me through every single one of them without complaint. In September, the test finally turned positive. I sat on the bathroom floor and cried harder than I had in years. This time, from something other than grief. We decided to tell the whole family at Thanksgiving. My sister Grace was flying in from Charleston. Owen's brother Nathaniel was coming too, driving up from Macon. I stood in Owen's mother's kitchen that morning, practicing how I'd say the words out loud. I hadn't felt this much joy in longer than I could remember. At dinner, I waited until dessert. I said, Owen and I have some news. The table went quiet. I said, we're finally having a baby. Everyone erupted. Hugs, tears. Owen's mother crying into her napkin. Except Grace. My sister sat there with a strange, frozen expression I didn't understand yet. Later that night, in the kitchen doing dishes, I asked her what was wrong. She said, nothing, Hannah. I'm happy for you. Her voice didn't match her face at all. I said, Grace, I've known you your whole life. Something's wrong. She set down the towel she was holding. She said, there's something I should have told you a long time ago. Her hands were shaking. I'd never seen my sister look scared like that, not once. Not even when our father was sick years ago and everything felt uncertain. I said, you're scaring me. Just say it. She took a breath like she was stepping off a ledge she'd been standing on for a very long time. My stomach dropped before she said another word. She said, 4 years ago, before you two started trying, Owen had an affair with a woman named Paige from his old job. I felt the floor tilt under me. I said, that's not possible. Owen would have told me, Grace said. He told me instead. He begged me not to say anything. He said he ended it. I said, you knew. You knew for 4 years and you let me plan a wedding anniversary trip with him. You let me cry to you every month about not getting pregnant. She said, I thought if I told you you'd leave him. And I thought you loved him too much for that to be the right thing to do. I said that wasn't your decision to make. She started crying. I didn't move to comfort her. My whole body felt like it belonged to someone else. Then she said something that broke whatever composure I had left. She said, there's one more thing. I've been seeing Nathaniel, Owen's brother, for almost a year. I stood there holding a wet dish towel, staring at my own sister, unable to process which betrayal to feel first. I said, you're dating my husband's brother. She said I didn't plan for it to happen. It just did at a family barbecue last summer. I was going to tell you once things felt more serious. I said, you've been sitting across from me at every holiday this year, sleeping with someone in this family while sitting on a secret about my own marriage. I walked out of that kitchen and found Owen in the living room. I said, we need to leave. Now? He didn't ask why until we were in the car. I told him everything Grace had said. His face went white. He admitted it was true. Every word. An affair 4 years earlier ended before we started trying for a baby. He said I should have told you myself instead of letting Grace carry it. I said, you made my own sister a liar to protect yourself. Do you understand what that cost me? He tried to explain how ashamed he'd been, how he thought confessing would break something in me he couldn't fix. I told him silence had broken far more than confession ever could have. We drove the rest of the way without speaking. I stared out the window at familiar streets that suddenly felt like they belonged to someone else's life, not mine. I moved into my mother's house that same night. I didn't speak to Grace for 6 weeks. I didn't speak to Owen for 2, only short messages about doctor appointments. Every night, I lay awake replaying years of memories, wondering which ones had been real and which ones had secrets folded quietly underneath them the whole time. My mother sat with me most of those nights. She said, you're allowed to be angry at both of them differently. One kept a secret out of fear. one built the secret in the first place. At my 12-week ultrasound, I went alone. I heard the heartbeat on the little speaker and cried in a way that had nothing to do with anger anymore. Just fear and love tangled together. Owen showed up in the parking lot afterward. He said, "I know I don't deserve to be here. I just needed to see you were okay." I let him sit in the car with me for a while. We started counseling the following week. He told me, session by session, exactly what happened with Paige and why he'd been too ashamed to ever bring it to me directly. Our counselor said something that stayed with me. She said, "Trust doesn't break in one moment, it breaks in every quiet moment after." When the truth could have come out and didn't, I thought about that on the drive home. I thought about every ordinary Tuesday dinner where Owen could have told me and chose comfort instead. Over and over for 4 years. Grace called almost every day. I let most of them go to voicemail. On the 7th week, she left one that made me finally pick up the phone the next time. She said, "I know I don't get to ask for forgiveness yet. I just want you to know Nathaniel and I ended things. I couldn't build something honest on a lie I told you." I met her for coffee in a parking lot between Savannah and Charleston, neither of us willing to fully come back yet. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. She said, "I've spent 4 years being scared of losing you over a secret that wasn't even mine to carry. I made it so much worse by keeping it." I said, "You did." She said, "I know." I said, "But I understand being afraid of losing someone. I'm learning that from a different direction right now." We didn't fix everything in that parking lot, but we sat there for 2 hours, and by the end, she reached over and put her hand on my stomach without asking. I let her. Something in me had softened, not forgiven exactly, but softened enough to let her back into the smallest corner of what was coming next. 6 months have passed. Owen and I are still in counseling, still rebuilding slower than either of us would like. But honestly, this time, with nothing folded underneath, Grace and I talk again carefully, the way you rebuild a bridge you're not sure will hold your full weight yet. She came to my baby shower last month and cried through the whole thing. I had my daughter 3 weeks ago. Her name is Josephine. When Grace held her for the first time, she whispered, "I promise I'll never keep anything from her or from you again." Owen cried in the hospital room in a way I've never seen him cry before. Holding Josephine's tiny hand like he was making a promise of his own, one he finally said out loud. He said, "I want her to grow up in a house where nobody's scared to tell the truth." I told him that was the first thing he'd said in months that I fully believed. My mother visits every Sunday now, and Grace drives up from Charleston most weekends just to sit with the baby. Slowly, without either of us announcing it, we became close again. I don't know yet what my marriage looks like in 5 years. I don't know exactly what my relationship with my sister will become. But I know silence almost cost me both of them. I learned that protecting someone with a secret usually just delays the pain and multiplies who it belongs to. Every person who kept quiet ended up carrying a piece of my heartbreak too. Some nights I still think about how easily I almost never found out. How close I came to raising my daughter inside a house built on things nobody was brave enough to say. Now, when something hard needs saying in our family, we say it, even at the risk of ruining a nice dinner. A ruined dinner heals faster than a secret ever does. If someone in your family has ever protected someone else's secret instead of protecting you, tell me how you found your way back. I'd love to hear it in the comments below.